Yo, what is up, my friends? Welcome back into the podcast. Yet another episode of Crushing Fantasy Football. I am Bryce Lockridge, your host of the show. Guys, today I'm going to be giving you my buy low trade targets. And I'll tell you what, I love the trade market after a heavy bye week because some of these players that didn't play in week 7, some of the guys in your league just tend to forget about them. I know that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but trust me, people do it. And especially if these guys had a bad week 6 and then a bye week in week 7, they might just be completely off the radar of some of these guys in your league. So it's a perfect time to buy low on these players and pick up a stud for your roster. And I also have some guys that did play in week 7, but they just underperformed. And it's a perfect time to buy low on these guys as well. So there's a lot of really good buy low trade targets right now. And I'm going to get right into it, guys. But if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button below. If you do enjoy my content today, make sure to give me a like, as likes help my channel tremendously. All right, I am going to start with Calvin Ridley, guys. Calvin Ridley is one of the best buy low trade targets in all of fantasy football right now. Guys, we're talking about a receiver that has, some actual weapons on his team to help him. I mean, we've seen the emergence of Cordero Patterson in the offense. Kyle Pitts is starting to play like the beast that we knew he could be. So, the Falcons are getting better and better every week as far as the overall efficiency of their offense. This is only going to help Calvin Ridley. I understand that he's had a slow start to the season as far as fantasy production, but he's still getting targeted heavily on what's becoming a very good offense, and he is one of the top red zone targets in all of fantasy football, despite missing some time this year. So he's a very good season-long ad, guys. This dude is a very talented wide receiver as well. Look, last year in the 2020 season, he was a top 5 wide receiver against man coverage as far as total yardage. And so he's very hard to beat in single coverage. And this team has too many weapons for people to double team Calvin Ridley. So he's going to be able to eat all season long. Look for him to have a huge second half of the season. And he's one of the best buy lows in fantasy football right now. So scoop him up for your team. All right, my next buy low is going to be Julio Jones. Okay, guys, I understand that Julio Jones has shown to be very injury prone in fantasy football this year. And, just over the past 2 or 3 years, he's been very injury prone. So I want to understand that when I'm telling you to buy low on Julio Jones, there is a little bit of a risk involved. But the reason I have him in my buy lows right now is because I think you don't even have to give up that much to get Julio Jones right now. And he has potential league-winning upside if he is able to manage to stay healthy. So I'm not guaranteeing that he can stay healthy because, we've seen over the past 2 or 3 years, he's been very injury prone. But you could probably give up a little bit to get Julio Jones, and you could add a potential league winner to your roster because if this dude does stay healthy, we've seen how good this Titans offense is, and he could give you massive upside in certain weeks and help you win your fantasy football championships if he does manage to stay on the field. So don't give up too much to get him, but if you're able to get him for the low price that I think you can in a lot of leagues, scoop Julio Jones while you have the chance. All right, guys, next on my list is going to be Amari Cooper. I had Amari Cooper in my buy lows last week. You could probably buy even lower on him now because the Cowboys had a bye week. He didn't perform well in week 6, and he hasn't had a monster fantasy performance since week 1. But we're talking about one of the best route runners in the entire NFL. He is an athletic specimen, very talented wide receiver on a very, very good Dallas Cowboys offense. He's going to have plenty of touchdown upside this year as a consequence of these things. And I see him having a huge second half to the 2021 season, especially considering the Cowboys aren't just going to blow out their opponents in every game like they've done most games this year. They're going to be in closer games, and in closer games, they have to target Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb a lot more. So look for their targets to go up in the second half of the year, and Amari Cooper is going to be a fantasy stud, so scoop him up for your roster. Next on my list is going to be T. Higgins. All right, guys, I understand T. Higgins has not been that great this year. It's been the all-Jamar Chase show for the Cincinnati Bengals, but look, guys, T. Higgins had 15 targets in this past game. 15 targets. I would say that they trust this guy a little bit to be a stud wide receiver for the team. We've seen that this Bengals offense is very efficient. They're scoring a ton of points, so his touchdown upside from week to week is massive. He's a 6'4" talented wide receiver. All the boxes are checked for this dude to be a fantasy beast. He's just had a little bit of a slow start, but I promise you that's a fluke. It's not going to be all Jamar Chase every week, and T. Higgins is going to give you some massive weeks and help you win and get to your fantasy football playoffs. So scoop T. Higgins for your team while you have the chance. Next on my list is going to be Keenan Allen. Guys, Keenan Allen has been actually super disappointing from an overall fantasy standpoint as far as fantasy points, but he's still getting peppered with targets and especially red zone targets in what's a very high-scoring offense. I understand that the Chargers looked really bad in Week 6. But that's just 1 week, guys. They've been great in every other game besides that. And they just had a bye week. So it's such a good time to buy low on Keenan Allen right now, guys. This dude is at his lowest point of the season as far as his perceived value. So it's a great time to buy low on him because all it takes, guys, is 1 week of Keenan Allen going off like we know that he can do, and people aren't going to sell him. He's going to be completely off the trade market. So you've got to get him right now while the Chargers are coming off a bye week, and Keenan Allen had a little bit of a down performance the week before that. So people are probably low on Keenan Allen right now, but you got to understand this guy's going to be a fantasy beast, and it's a perfect time to buy low on him and add this stud player to your roster. All right, next on my list, moving on to the running back position, is going to be Aaron Jones, guys. Aaron Jones had a down week, a big-time down week this past week. The Washington football team clearly just planned on taking Aaron Jones out of this game. They were focused on him heavily, and they just shut down the run, so the Packers were forced to pass the ball in order to move the ball down the field. But it's not going to be like this every week because you can't just game plan to stop the run against the Packers. They've got too many weapons in the passing game, and they've got one of the best quarterbacks in all time in Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball. So you can't just focus every week on shutting down the run. I was surprised, actually, that Washington put so much attention on Aaron Jones, but it just shows the respect the league is starting to give to Aaron Jones. This guy is starting to become recognized as one of the best backs in the entire NFL, and he is that, guys. This guy is a great dual-threat running back. Look, he's an extremely good pass catcher out of the backfield, too. Fun fact, targets to Aaron Jones this year. 28 targets, 26 receptions. When they pass this guy the ball out of the backfield, it works at an extremely high efficiency, and he's still got massive touchdown upside. We've seen this over the past 2.5 years of fantasy football performances from Aaron Jones. This dude's magnetically attracted to the end zone. He's in a great offense. He's an elite talent, and he's coming off a down week, so this is maybe the single best buy low in all of fantasy football right now, right up there with Calvin Ridley, but I would say that Aaron Jones is probably the best buy low in fantasy football. So this is a priority over any of these players, guys. Scoop up Aaron Jones while you have the chance. All right, guys, my last and final buy low is going to be J.D. McKissic. I want you guys to understand the importance of J.D. McKissic going forward because he has massive potential to help you win your fantasy championship. I mean, just look at all the factors, guys. Antonio Gibson is chronically injured at this point. I mean, this dude has been dealing with a shin injury over the past month. It doesn't look like he's going to get better anytime soon, and they're just splitting the work a lot more between these two running backs because of Antonio Gibson's injury. So even if Gibson still manages to get on the field, J.D. McKissic is going to be getting a very healthy workload for the rest of the season, especially in games where the Washington football team is playing from behind because J.D. McKissic is the pass-catching running back for the team. He's one of the best pass-catching running backs in all of football. People don't know it, but he is. And here's the deal, guys. If Antonio Gibson does happen to get injured to the point of not being able to play, you have a potential running back one in J.D. McKissic because he's going to be getting heavy volume in both the rushing game and the passing game if Antonio Gibson goes down. So you've got a potential league-winning player in J.D. McKissic. And it's a perfect time to buy low on him. He didn't do jack this past week, but so what, guys? It's 1 week. We're talking about season-long standpoint as far as the value in these players. And from a season-long standpoint, J.D. McKissic has tremendous potential to help your team make the playoffs and win a fantasy championship. So scoop this dude up while you have the chance. All right, guys, those are my buy low trade targets for the week. Make sure to scoop these guys for your roster. They're going to be great season-long ads, and they're very likely to be at their lowest point this year as far as their perceived value. So scoop these dudes up while you have the chance. They're going to help you win a fantasy championship. All right, guys, I appreciate you tuning into the video today, guys. I'm really enjoying doing this so far, and you guys have a good day.